Alright, back here again on YouTube for another voiceover of a workout. It just seems like that's the way it's going this week, so weather's been shitty, nothing I can do about it. Today was my active recovery day, so first couple of exercises I did were actual strength exercises, like these chest bar pull-ups. I was doing 3 sets of 6 of these, paused at the bottom, pulling as strictly as I can up to the bar, touching my chest to the bar every single rep. Now, with these were not necessarily to really build any strength today or build any endurance or build any muscle. These were specifically for just putting my body through the range of motion and essentially cooling off from yesterday, which was my weighted pull-up day. So again, 3 sets of 6. I was keeping it light, keeping it simple. I didn't want to do anything that was gonna give me a massive pump, seeing as how I was going to be stretching out and doing mobility exercises after these. So I didn't want to get all tight and, pumped up for that. So just nice and easy, like 6 reps on each set. Next exercise I did were some pike push-ups. And again, same thing as the pull-ups. 8 reps, going nice and easy through the range of motion. Really just actually kind of, in a way, putting my shoulders through some mobility here with the full range of motion. And using kind of as strict a form as possible. And I wasn't really looking to do them in such a way as to bring my feet off the ground like I'm training for a press to handstand. They did start getting hard to do at 8 reps, which is why I shortened it down to about 6 reps or so. This is the second set only, so I wasn't quite there yet, but for whatever reason, they were in fact getting difficult. So just like with the chest to bar pull-ups, my goal is not to build strength or power or muscle or anything like that. It was simply to take my body through the range of motion. So once they started getting a little bit hard and my face was getting a little bit too red, I knew it was time to kind of lighten the load up a little bit. So I was going nice and easy, making sure I had near perfect form. Of course, form's not always going to be perfect necessarily, but it is what it is. Here we see I'm getting ready for the last set. I actually did 4 sets of these. I meant to do 4 sets of the pull-ups too, but I think I started talking to somebody in the gym at that time and I just totally forgot about the 4th set. I mean, shit happens, so. Now, even on active recovery days, I try to do some form of reps in some movement. Doesn't necessarily have to be push-ups or pull-ups, but so first mobility move, I did a lot of banded mobility today. So here I'm just doing external rotations. I did 3 sets per side, so right side and left side. And For external rotations, I was sticking to about 12 reps. Nice and easy, trying not to let the band snap my arm into place, but instead controlling it all the way through. And so, like, something I see a lot with, for example, external rotations in terms of shoulder mobility, like, people start treating it as some sort of, like, hypertrophic workout, but that's not the point. So, like, yeah, if you're doing this exercise, you're going to start to burn in some muscles that are underutilized. But, like, you should not really be taking these mobility exercises all the way to failure, or, like, treating it as some sort of muscle building exercise. Does it build muscle? Sure, but that's not the main point of it. So, like, people will feel it start to burn, and then they'll keep pumping and not stick to, like, a certain rep scheme. And yeah, that is going to build muscle, but the point of mobility should not be to build muscle. It can build strength, maybe, but really the main goal should just be to train your body to be able to move through a full range of motion, unhindered, unchallenged, without any pain, really. So, I did start to feel a burn a little bit, but I didn't keep going after that. I set a rep scheme and I stuck to it. If you hear something creaking, it's my mattress, by the way. I'm laying in my bed recording this voiceover. So I did 3x12 each side, and then I moved on to internal rotations. And I think here, just to shorten up the video some, I only showed my left arm because I was facing the camera. Basically, it's the same thing as with the external rotations. Again, you don't want to treat it as some, like, massive muscle building exercise, and you don't want the band to control the way you're moving. So you want to control yourself all the way through the range of motion. And here I was using, like, a super light band, probably the lightest band that the gym has for these. Again, not to build strength or, I guess to build strength through the range of motion, but, not to build muscle. So, next move is actually one of my personal favorites. It's called the chicken wing. As you can see, you put the band, like, right in the crook of your elbow. And some form cues for this, because it's a really good, like, shoulder mobility exercise. So what you want to do is put the band in the crook of your elbow, and then this is the only time I'll say let the band control you. What you want to do when it's bringing your elbow forward is really focus on relaxing and letting the band pull your elbow towards the front of your body and feeling that stretch in the back of your shoulder as well as your scapula. And then on the concentric, we are pulling your elbow back. You don't want to focus on pulling with your elbow. You more so want to focus on pulling with your shoulder, and then your elbow will follow. So it's not about seeing how far you can drive your shoulder back. It's more about how much control over your scapula do you have. I said that wrong. It's not about seeing how far you can pull your elbow back. It's about seeing how far or how much control over your scapula you have. So when you're more so pulling through the shoulder than through the elbow. And, just, it's a nice deep stretch, and it really works your scapular control, stretches out your rear delt, releases your rotator cuff. It's just really good all around, in my opinion. So I did 3 sets of about 12 to 15, and this will be a reoccurring theme throughout the video, but you don't want to treat it as some like muscle building exercise. Now, I use the bands also for conditioning and strengthening of the wrists. This is how I got like thick wrists for my size, as well as like thick forearms. And I also only showed the right side because that side was facing the camera only. So as you can see, you put the band in your hand and then you pull back. Next exercise I did almost the opposite movement. Instead of pulling back, you're pulling up. You put the band in your hand with the loop coming out of the bottom of your hand, and you simply pull up, and you really want to focus on not curling, essentially, and moving all through the wrist. Now, external rotations on the wrist, same thing. You want to focus on pulling with your hand only. And
2-3 weeks.
If you've never done these before, you'll get a really good burn in your forearm, and it'll strengthen your wrists. And that will conclude the video. Thanks for watching.